When I grew up in Danbury, Connecticut, many, many years ago, and I was in my senior year of high school or the end of my junior year of high school, I was sitting with my cousin, and she asked me where I'm applying to colleges, and I said, oh, I'm applying to UConn and this school and that school, and they were all schools of education, because in the 60s, you were able to be a secretary, a teacher, a bookkeeper, maybe a hairdresser, but you couldn't have a profession other than those. And she said, well, why don't you consider doing what I do? I said, well, what do you do? She said, I'm a dental hygienist. I said, what's that? She said, you see your hygienist every time you go to the dentist. And you could be both a professional, caregiver, dental care provider, which we didn't use those terms in those days, or you could also be an educator. She said, I teach my patients how to brush and floss. I said, oh, that sounds interesting. Never realizing I was going to have to put my hands in someone's mouth and I was going to have to look at blood, because that's why I didn't become a nurse. I didn't want to look at blood. So long story short, I applied to Phones and I applied to Forsyth. Those were the two schools I chose. And I got accepted at Phones early admission, and I was convinced it was because my father was on the board of trustees and he had nothing to do with the admissions committee at all. I come to find out. But I ended up at Forsyth because that's where I wanted to go. And that's when I got into school on probation, because my SATs were very low and my high school average was very high. And the dean at the time went to bat for me with the admissions committee. There were 5 of us accepted on probation, and I was the one of 5 that graduated. Honor roll, dean's list. So I proved myself to my dean. I loved treating the children. I loved treating the older people, and I loved treating people my parents' age. But all we taught them was brush with Crest, floss once a day, and make sure you get fluoride treatments at the office. And look where we are today. Who would have thunk it? I was a chairside hygienist for 40 years of my 56 years. I've been an educator since 1999. I achieved my bachelor's degree at the age of 70, 3 years ago. And I still get excited when I talk about dental hygiene. I still get excited when I talk to students. So who do I sound like now? I sound like my mentor, Dr. Esther Wilkins.